Hey guys, Dave Huber here for Tip Tuesday. So glad to have you on. If you're just now joining us, we're glad to have you on Facebook world and YouTube land. Thank you for joining. I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes to get on here real quick, but today is Tip Tuesday, and today I've got a special treat for you. Today I have a special guest, and the big tip for the day, I'll just get right to the point. It's protect your future. You've got to protect your future. Your financial future needs protection. And today is all about how can we do that. So I don't want to be the only one to give the tip today, because I have a very special guest who happens to be an absolute genius when it comes to protecting your future. Have you ever met one of those people that you can kind of look up to regardless of the age? In other words, even if they're younger than you are, you can look up to them because they have such high levels of integrity. That's what this person has. This is a very close, not just friend, but also this is my brother. This is Ben Mitchell. So I'm going to add him to the stream here. Ben, can you hear me?
I sure can, Dave. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. So
awesome.
Guys, what I want to tell you about Ben here, he is the operations manager for our precious metals division. And Ben, I wanted to bring you on just to share with everybody a little bit how they can protect their future. And I've got a list of questions, so get ready. I'm going to just blast you with question after question and see how many tips we can fit into Tip Tuesday here. Does that sound good?
That sounds great. Let's give it a
shot.
All right.
So guys, here he is. This is Ben Mitchell. And I've known him almost his entire life. But like I said, when it comes to integrity, he's got very high levels of it. And that's really what you want whenever you're learning how to protect your future, especially when it comes to finances. So Ben, thanks for joining us. Here come the questions. All right. So here's our guest, Mr. Ben Mitchell. Ben, how did you land on precious metals as the vehicle for protecting your finances? Why that? Why precious metals?
Good question, Dave. Well, first of all, about, I would say 8 years ago, the same question was proposed to me, but in a different context. It was presented in the context of me me listening to somebody else ask an industry expert that question, a metals industry expert, that same question. And they kind of answered the question with a question, which was, well, why do we, have insurance? Why do we have insurance for anything? And of course, the answer is we have insurance for something or a situation or an event that we hope never happens. But if it does happen, we're protected from it. And then he followed that up by saying precious metals, as proven by history, as far as its historical precedent in this context, serves as the greatest financial insurance of any other asset. That's insurance against, something that a lot of us have been hearing a lot about lately, which is really high inflation. It's insurance against your money or your savings losing its purchasing power. It's insurance against systemic risk in general. That could be the Great Depression. That could be the Great Recession. That could be the stagflation that happened all the way back in the 70s. That could have been some of the financial turmoil and uncertainties that came along with the pandemic, just barely a little over a year ago. And so that's why I landed on precious metals, Dave. It's because precious metals have been proven throughout all of human history to be the ultimate financial insurance. And the one hard asset or hard currency that every civilization has gone to when they are in search of a solid monetary system or money system.
So that's really good. So if you guys are listening right now, one of the things that I really want to pick up on that Ben just said is that investing in precious metals is a form of insurance. And we all think of insurance as a way to protect our physical health, right? We have physical health insurance that we all invest in to protect ourselves, protect our family in case something happens to us. But what we don't often realize is that our money needs insurance too. Our money needs that. And so that's so beautiful what you just said there, Ben. Think of it like a form of insurance to protect your money, because money, it's being eroded by inflation every single day. So that's one huge tip. Why did you land on precious metals? Because it is a form of insurance and we all need to protect our money just like we would protect our health. All right, Ben, I got another question for you here.
Okay.
All right. When did you first get interested in precious metals? Like, how did you get on that webinar that made you land on precious metals as a good vehicle in the first place?
Well, I'll be totally honest with you, Dave. It wasn't necessarily because of it wasn't necessarily because there's this point in time where all of a sudden I'm like, I'm interested in precious metals. I'm going to go learn more about it. The reason I got interested was because I was first asked by my dad, David Mitchell, the guy that started Tradeway, and the reason Tradeway is even here. He asked me one day about approximately 8 years ago at this point to learn more about it and to put a system together so that our students at Tradeway could learn how to properly buy precious metals, get the most metal for their dollar, because there's a lot of information out there about it and a lot of it is bad. So he wanted us to be a platform that could teach people how to do it the right way. So it was just a task. He just told me to do it. So I was like, yes, sir, I'll get started on it. So I went and started it. But Dave, what was cool about it is it didn't take but maybe a few days, maybe a week or two into this project that ultimately took me a couple of years to totally put together, which is something we'll be sharing with you guys in a minute, to totally fall in love with it, totally get, have this passion for learning as much about how money works and why, and the problems surrounding money and the problems that need answers or need solutions, and ultimately how precious metals can be the solution to so many of those problems. So that's how I got interested in it. Was I was first tasked with this project, but then upon digging into it a little bit, I kind of fell in love with it, and the rest is history. From that point on, it was no longer a task. It was a passion project, and it remains to be so today.
Oh, see, that's great. Guys, do you hear that? So think of Moses, right? When Moses was given basically a vision from the Lord of taking his people to the promised land, that was something that he had in his heart to do, but he passed that vision on to his understudy, which was Joshua, right? And think of what happened here. David Mitchell, founder of Tradeway, thought in his heart, he said, I want my students to be protected. I want their finances to be protected. I don't just want to teach people how to make money in the stock market. I want to teach them how to protect their money as well. And so he had the vision, he started it off, and then just like Moses handing off the baton to Joshua, David Mitchell handed off that baton to his son, Ben. And Ben, I love what you said, is that it very quickly became a passion project for you, which I have watched firsthand because I will go to Ben. We make jokes about it and how I tried investing in gold and silver before Ben became the resident expert on this. And boy, I wish you had done it about 8 years sooner, but I guess maybe, I don't know. It just wasn't your task yet. So I now go to Ben for all my questions about precious metals when it comes to gold and silver. In fact, we were just talking about that just before we started this.
For sure.
So, all right, next question. You ready?
Yes.
All right. How do I know? And I know our students are sitting out there thinking, all right, this is kind of cool, right? I'm interested in precious metals, but how do I know that buying precious metals is truly for me? Like, is it for everyone?
Well, I would start by saying that obviously everyone has their own objectives, their own personal goals. Everyone has a different, situation, or, maybe different questions they have, maybe different barriers or problems that they want a solution for. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you this, Dave, there's one thing that 100% of us have in common, and that is we want our money to be protected, and we want to be able to pass down a sustainable inheritance to the next generation. I mean, even if you've never proposed that goal the way I just said it, it's something that I'll just put it this way. It's something that 100% of the people I have talked to, which is hundreds and hundreds of investors over the last 7 to 8 years across the country, the last 7 to 8 years, not 78 years.
You're older than you look.
Yeah, across the country, 100% of the people I've talked to, that is a common goal or objective they want to accomplish. They want a sustainable inheritance for the next generation. They want a way to protect the money that they've worked hard to earn. And because that is a common goal, That can be the answer to the question. How do I know if metals is right for me? Well, maybe you've never realized that metals, physical precious metals, can be the solution to those kinds of problems, like protecting your savings, protecting the purchasing power of your savings, or allowing you to have a sustainable inheritance for the next generation. But it is, and it can be the tool and the solution to that problem that affects every American every day, certainly every year. And that is the gradual loss of the purchasing power of the money that we work so hard to earn.
So what you're saying is this isn't just for protecting money. This is also a way to store up, right? For our children's children. So the Proverbs tells us a good man storeth up for his children and his children's children. If you want to be able to leave an inheritance, and that's one of your life goals, maybe you hadn't really thought about leaving an inheritance yet. Maybe you're not at that stage in life where you say, oh, I got to get this done. But Ben is telling you eventually you're going to get there. If you're not already there now, you're going to get there. 100% of the investors he's talked to, that eventually becomes a goal. And precious metals is an excellent way to do just that. All right, Ben. So here's the thing. Some people, they don't have a whole lot of money to start with. Maybe they don't have money to purchase gold. And I know that when it comes to investing in precious metals, the thought is that's something you do once you're wealthy, right? So like, if I'm not wealthy yet, should I even be considering precious metals right now? Or is that something I do later once I've made money in the stock market?
Great question, Dave. And yeah, and it's a great one to ask and a great one for people to even think about, because I'll say this really quick. When I first started the journey and started getting into metals investing myself, I was certainly not in a place financially. I was only 18 or 19 years old, newlywed, on a very small budget. We're still, we were just getting started. And I had what many would consider a shoestring budget that I had to work with. And so, no, I mean, the industry standard for buying for a percentage of metals you should have is about 10%, maybe a little bit more. I know people who have over 20% of their total money in metals. That wouldn't have worked for me on a shoestring budget when I first got started. The answer is it can be something that anyone can do. In other words, you don't have to have a lot of money to do it. In fact, Dave, I'll just go ahead and say this. Guys, just here in about like 9 or 10 days, I'm doing a 2-day virtual precious metals event where I answer this question in detail. But not only do I answer it, I mean, I'll tell you the answer. The answer is no, you do not have to have a lot of money to do it. Anyone can do it. So there's the answer. But I take it a step further. During this 2-day virtual event I'll be doing, I'm going to be showing you guys strategies and ways to take that answer and actually apply it to your own investment journey. I'm going to show you how I did it when I got started. How can you invest in metals on a shoestring budget, even if you're not at the place where the general, it's generally perceived, like Dave said, I have to have a lot of money, I have to have a large portfolio. You do not have to be there in order to get started. And I'll show you how in great detail here in just 2 days. In fact, Dave, I'm going to go ahead and put something in the chat box really quick.
Yeah, please do. Go ahead and throw it in the chat box.
Check it out.
This is a free event that you're talking about, right?
So it's free to a group of people, a certain group of people who have already invested in my metals education before. Now, if you've never done that before, and this is your first time, it does come with a ticket fee of $97, but that's good for yourself, your spouse, any kids still living at home with you under the age of 18. We want the whole family to be involved. So if it's your first time ever, it's $97 for the ticket. But guess what, Dave? 100% money back guarantee. If you guys take the course, full 2 days, and you leave thinking, you know what, this just wasn't quite for me, or maybe I'm just not ready to apply all this yet. If you didn't think it was for you, we'll give you 100% of your money back. We want it to be beneficial to your family. So if you don't think it was, that's why we have the guarantee in place. But I'll tell you this, I've put a lot of hard work and years worth of research and development in this course, and I truly believe it will be greatly beneficial to you and your family. And when you see the potential money that you can save by applying the system that I will teach you in your metals investment, not only could the savings potentially pay for the ticket, but maybe even beyond that. In fact, far beyond that, if the potential that these strategies have are applied to your situation. So $97, but 100% money back guarantee. If it wasn't for you, And I'm going to share some really, really cool stuff with you guys over the course of that 2 days.
Protect your future event, right? Protect your future event. $97 to attend, but what you're sharing in the link, is that how I go register?
That's right. Click on the link, guys. Not only can you register there, but you can learn more about it as well. There's a lot of cool information. Click on that link. I think there's a video in there and some bullet points letting you know what exactly you will learn over the course of that 2 days. And so, yeah, there's a lot of information. Click on the link to learn more, and then you can also get registered through the link as well.
Oh, that's so good. Okay, so here's the thing. We've got a comment here from Mario. All right, Mario, thanks for commenting on Facebook. So glad to see you on here. Hi, by the way. But he says, can you teach on how when Israel left Egypt, they took riches with them? Or does that relate to this? Is there something, is this going to have some biblical application as well in the precious metals event?
That's a fascinating question there, Mario, and I appreciate it. And it's really a well thought out question because, I mean, that's going pretty far back, right? But the answer is yes, Dave. There's going to be lots of tie-ins to not only biblical history, but also biblical commandments. You mentioned the Proverbs passage earlier. You know, we certainly bring these biblical concepts into light and say, okay, how can we obey these commandments by utilizing precious metals investing is one example. But Mario, to be even more specific, yes, we go all the way back to before Israel left Egypt. We go all the way back to shortly after creation, when the Lord said the gold in the land of Havilah was good. And I'll go ahead and just let you know, give you a little sneak peek of the kinds of things we're going to dig deep into. But the word good there is actually wealth. That you can translate that Hebrew word into wealth or prosperity. So before Adam and Eve ever sinned, before man ever even needed currency or a way to trade or a way to purchase things or needed the concept of wealth, God said the gold in that land is wealth, or the gold in that land is prosperity. And he said that because he knew we would one day need it. We would one day need a perfect natural property that would fit all of the needed properties of money. That is a lot of where the precedence of gold being such a powerful tool comes into play. We're going to talk about it in detail on the event, but great question, Mario. And yes, we actually will talk about the Israelites and even the Egyptians and what money meant to them in the event. Great question.
That's so good. Well, guys, we're pretty much out of time here for Tip Tuesday. So, Ben, thank you so much for hopping on with us.
Sure.
I had like 2 or 3 more questions, but I'll tell you what, I happen to know, because I've taken this event, I happen to know that all the questions I have for you, they're all answered in this event and so much more. In fact, some of them are even answered on the link. So you want to go click the link. Okay, so click the link and find out everything you can about this incredible event called Protect Your Future. We'll put the link up on the screen for you guys here. So yeah, you want to go to go.tradeway.com/precious, then the little dash sign, metals. That's the link. You want to go there. And when you do, that's going to give you a whole rundown of what this precious metals event is. Ben will be hosting this live. What day is it, Ben?
It's going to be June 11th and 12th. I believe it's that Friday and Saturday. Yeah, that's right, Dave. June 11th and 12th. Start around 10 a.m. Central both days. It's a 2-day event, guys. So yes, I fully understand. That's a big time commitment and investment of your personal time. But guys, I promise you, I would never host a 2-day event and use up your time if I didn't know it was worth your time. And if I wasn't able to deliver something that could not only benefit you right now and answer and give you solutions to problems we're dealing with right now, but an education you can pass down to the next generation and even beyond that forever. I'm going to be sharing stuff that my family has been doing for the last 3 generations to protect our money. And so I promise you guys, it's going to be worth your time. Put it on the calendar, set some time aside, get registered for it, and it's going to be an absolute blast. I've done it before. I get positive feedback every time, and I have a great time with our students anytime I get to talk about these things I'm so passionate about with them. So I'm really excited about it, and I really hope to see you there.
Give that date one more time.
June 11th and 12th.
11th and 12th. So guys, it's 2 days because it's absolutely jam-packed with information you need.
For sure.
You might be thinking, I don't know, do I need that right now? if you want to protect your future, you want to get started on it right now. You go, well, how am I going to set up some time for this? Like Ben said, just go ahead and throw it into your calendar, attend on the 11th and 12th, right?
That's right. And let me
June
say
11th and 12th, attend that event, because that's going to help you even understand, how does this fit into my finances? How do I know it's for me? How do I know how to do it? How do I know how much money to start with? How do I know, do I buy gold or silver? Do I buy a coin? Do I buy a bar? I mean, everything, every question you can think to ask, he's already got answered in this event. You do not want to miss it. It is the Protect Your Future event. Go to the link, check it out. We'll see you in the Protect Your Future event, and then we'll see you in the market. Thanks for being on, Ben. Appreciate you.
Dave.
We'll see you guys later.
Hey, Dave, let me end with this really fast. I just want to say, because this has been on everyone's mind for a while. You've been hearing these high inflation. You've been hearing things like this in the news the past couple of weeks. It's been talked about across pretty much all media platforms. And you see a lot of infomercials about precious metals, right? You see a lot of commercials about it. What do they always say? They either say inflation is terrible, so you need to buy our products now, or they say gold and silver are about to shoot to the moon, you need to buy our products now. Guys, Tradeway takes a different approach than anything you've ever seen on an infomercial or a Fox News commercial on why you need to be buying gold and silver, and even how we approach the inflation problem. It's all different than you've ever heard before. You want to hear it. Guys, we don't sell gold and silver. We teach an education. We don't have any bias as to what coin, bar, or round you need to be buying. That's what a lot of the companies out there are going for. We don't have that bias. You can come to us and get objective analysis on what's happening and how to approach it the right way. And that's what we're going to be doing on June 11th at 12. So I just want to say that, because it's in the news.
Guys, he can't wait. He's already trying to teach it right now. I love it.
I would if we didn't
want to go to this event. Protect Your Future. Get to the link. Register for it now. Full money back guarantee. We're that confident that you're absolutely going to love it. And thanks again, Ben, for being on. And we'll get there, guys. We'll see you in the event.
Great to see you guys. Thanks for having me, Dave.
That's your tip for Tuesday. Protect your future. See you later.
See you later.